You're very welcome along to the Matchbook NFL podcast, a special Christmas edition ahead of Week 17. I'm your host, Daniel Hussey, joined once again by Judah, but rest assured Brad will be back in action for us in the new year to cover the playoffs. Judah, each and every year we give Week 18 as the bye week for our contributors to have a rest up and get ready for the playoffs. So this is our last podcast of 2025. Christmas Day for you, I mean, the football-wise, the fixtures aren't going to be delivering in terms of what matters, but we can always find a bet in these games.
That's right. As we like to say, never going to complain about football. In 3 months' time from now, in 2 months' time from now, I'm going to be dying for a kind of full 3-game slate, 3 island games. There's always stuff to bet on, always stuff to kind of look at and make exciting. I'll never take any football for granted.
Yeah, and going back to last week, Patriots landed your best bet on the money line. There was a lot of red zone was good. Again, I felt I was watching too much of the Raiders. Again, I say that every week in Pete Carroll, but there was last second comeback wins, turning at the guard. You said in your takeaways here, the cover, it's a perfect encapsulation of what this season has been, which has been a season of shocks.
Yeah, I mean, like the Sunday games for one thing, but Thursday night was an absolutely insane kind of comeback win from the Seahawks, and then only to be one up Saturday night by the Bears.
And on that throw by Caleb is as a moment in a regular season, it's right up there in terms of a play to win a game, isn't it? It's right up there.
It has to be. It has to be. I mean, it was just an absolutely perfect throw. It is, and it's just like the Bears toppling the Packers in kind of uncharacteristic fashion. The Seahawks are not supposed to win that game. The Bears are not supposed to win that game. This entire, and then we just you look at the Titans just thrashing the Chiefs, and it's been an extremely weird NFL season. And even a look at the games on Christmas Day, looking from the preseason, these were you would think to be some of the best games, right? The Cowboys and Commanders, very well could have been a massive division game. Looking ahead, Chiefs, Broncos, similarly, all of these games, Lions, Vikings, and yet we're looking at the top of the AFC with Drake May, leading comebacks over Lamar Jackson. It seems like a real kind of turning of the guard. New quarterbacks, Trevor Lawrence going in and dominating Denver after it feels like Trevor Lawrence has been written off a million times. And yet he somehow has still kind of emerged. It has been an extremely weird NFL season, and I think the 2025 Week 15 was Week 16 was a perfect encapsulation of that.
Yeah, the Trevor Lawrence thing, it feels like he's had the potential for years to produce performance like that more regularly. But and with the Broncos, you were waiting. I know we'll get onto the Broncos. You were waiting for their second half comeback, and it was building commentary. But I guess to be 14, 17 points down going into the fourth quarter, you're not going to come back every single time. And I think ultimately we saw maybe that in action there with them, because they threatened it for a while.
Yeah, it was the first half. It looked like the Broncos were kind of dominating, and even like the first half, the first quarter, and the first little bit of the second quarter. But Trevor Lawrence kept on hitting plays downfield, and that's kind of been the unlock for this Jaguars offense, which is kind of post-bye. They went from a team that was throwing deep, and not even really post-bye. It's really once Jacoby Myers got there, that were throwing deep like 7% of the time to like doubling that number to like 15% of the time. And Lawrence has gotten far more efficient when throwing downfield. He's added like 1 point per throw deep now the last like 5 weeks. You're going to be extremely successful. They're really hitting their stride, and the defense struggled against Denver. Some of that was game state related, but they're a kind of frisky team in an AFC that no one really wants to win.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll get to that playoff picture, and it'll be clear when our next podcast in the new year, when we'll be previewing game by game. We'll obviously have Super Wildcard Weekend, as they call it now. Before we get going, if we can take 2 seconds, if you're watching or listening and you've enjoyed the shows throughout 2025, if you can take 2 seconds, hit that follow or subscribe button wherever you're watching or listening. And if you can, hit that like button on YouTube, helps our content get out to a wider audience. The games we're going to cover, the 3 Christmas games, we're going to cover Texans at Chargers, and then Judah's going to give his long shot and best bets, and I think both of them come in the Sunday. So obviously it's Saturday, December the 27th, Sunday, December the 28th, if you want to try and work in days, although most people will be going off dates, obviously. Judah, a game that doesn't matter, as we touched on. Cowboys at the Commanders. That Cowboys-Chargers game, it felt that was a big drive from the Chargers. I think started the second half or third quarter. Once they got that touchdown, they pulled away. This matchup for the Cowboys, you actually like them here, and you're going to go to the well, and a little bit of an alt line, not much, but just -9.5 is 205 on Matchbook.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of still taking this to the fundamentals. The Cowboys defense is atrocious. They've been bad, and without Quinn Williams, who I imagine will be back, has been even worse. But it looks like we're getting Josh Johnson, and this is just a huge step down from Marcus Mariota, I think. And the Commanders' defense, kind of by any chunk of the season you want to slice it, has been one of the worst in the NFL. Dallas is still playing. All these guys are. I am definitely on team. Like, NFL players are motivated to win, barring some like extreme circumstance. And I don't think the Cowboys are like trying to tank for their head coach. That does not make sense. I think John Hammer did a great job in year one. And this is an offense, so I'm going to use the season data. This is like a top 3 offense going up against a real bottom defense that cannot stop the pass. And I just don't trust that Josh Johnson is going to be able to take advantage of the weaknesses of the Cowboys defense, especially if they do get Quinn Williams back. This is a team that has been dominant stopping the run, which has been basically the entirety of Washington's success offensively in the last bunch of weeks. And if you're just going to run into a bunch of loaded boxes for a couple of yards per carry, I think that can lead to many kind of quick drives, and the Cowboys adding up points really, really quick against, again, a really dreadful Commanders defense.
Okay, let's lock that in. Cowboys -9.5, 205. That is the Christmas Day. So UK Irish listeners, which is the majority, obviously, 6 p.m. Christmas Day. Nice bonus football there, because a lot of people, we had them on our football soccer podcast, Judah, saying, obviously Christmas Day is the non-sport day. But for us NFL fans, we have that. Don't worry. There's non-stop sport throughout this Christmas period. And it continues at 9:30. So again, it's doing almost like a Sunday slate here on Christmas Day. Lions at the Vikings. Judah, before you give your selection, let's talk about the finish to the Lions game. Crazy finish. Even the announcement from the official, in terms of, like, I sort of was getting a grasp of what was about to happen, yet he said the final ruling on the field is a touchdown, but and that just led to the drama.
Yeah, it was. I mean, like, there were so many things happening. Let's even take a step back. The fact that Chris Boswell missed a 37-yard field goal in a dome. Yeah. It's just like, what's that kick is among the most likely kicks to go in. And then the OPI, the first OPI. Sorry,
I mean, was that the right call?
Like the first one, who knows? Like, it's so ticky-tack. Also, like, there was a defensive pass interference on a 4th and 2 on Jamison Williams, which they called extremely late. Jamison Williams started to just go berserk on the field, and then they threw the flag. It was just a madness of an ending to that game, but I mean, thrilling for sure. And then, like, no one had any clue what was happening the last play of the game. But the ref really did the Lions fans dirty there.
And they cheered.
The game is over, And
and going into this game, they traveled to Minnesota. I mean, you're expecting them to bounce back, is the wrong word, because they played well for the most part, although it took a while to get going. But -9.5 here at the Vikings.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's always some concern. Jared Goff has struggled against Brian Flores blitzes. He did in their first matchup. But again, like, the degree of quarterback play going to Max Brosmer, who is just not an NFL starter right now, I think is, gives the Lions a ton of leeway. They have not been able to get their ground game going much at all, but this is still an offense in a dome that grades out as a top 5 unit. I think kind of gets the better of the Vikings defense here, which has been performing much better. It's a similar type of scenario with Josh Johnson. I'm happy to kind of take the alt here, because these are real points and real games, and I don't see how the Vikings, especially the Lions, I think, are going to sell out to stop the run. I don't see how Max Brosmer is going to beat them consistently. And this is a Lions offense that is still a terrific unit, should be putting up multiple scores. And I think they can cover with margin here.
Okay, yeah. So slight alt again from Judah there, trying to eke out a little bit of value. 2.2 is Lions -9.5. Broncos at Chiefs, Judah. in terms of being different from season priors, is this as big a difference as you've seen? So what's the current line at the time recording? Did I see
12.5?
13? Yeah, so 13. So what are we talking about? A 20-point plus of what the season prior would have been here?
Yeah, I mean, it's an insane move. But this is a Chiefs team that, it's been decimated. It's not just Pat. I mean, obviously Patrick Mahomes is huge. We're on now to the third string quarterback, but also the entire, rest of the pieces are hurt. Trent McDuffie, Rashee Rice in practice. Like, there are so many guys missing here, and this is a shell of the Chiefs team and roster that we've seen for the last bunch of years. But the spot I like here, I think there's like a lot of uncertainty vis-a-vis kind of the Chiefs quarterback play. I assume it's going to be Lucan, but it's possible they signed Shane Buechele. I mean, it's in theory he might be coming in for a hero spot start. But this is a Denver team that passes the ball a lot on early downs and has consistently now since week 11 they were 4% above expected, week 13 5%, week 14 11%, week 15 3%. This is a team that is consistently passing. I don't think this is a Chiefs offense that against a pretty tough, but I still think not elite Broncos defense, as they're kind of a little bit exposed against Jacksonville. I think that the Broncos are just going to run a ton of plays here, and the Chiefs are not going to be able to get much going offensively. And then this is a Chiefs defense that has been kind of bottom of the league passing over the last month to 6 weeks of the season and is dealing with a whole slew of injuries. The Broncos like to pass. I think they should have their way here. Bo Nix has been terrific against the blitz, which Kansas City and Steve Spagnuolo have a tendency to do. I think kind of my favorite angle here, even despite the Broncos being such heavy favorites, is Bo Nix passing over 227.
Okay, yeah, it seems a touch low to be fair, given the difference. So Bo Nix over 227.5 passing yards as they go to the Kansas City Chiefs. That incidentally, that's 1:15 Christmas Day night. Texans at Chargers. Final game we're going to cover in the main slot here. Chargers surprised you last week at all?
Yeah, Chargers really did.
Yeah. Passing was good as well.
Yeah, I think that the this offensive line, Herbert without Joe Alt has, like, before this game was negative 0.14 EPA per play, which would be one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. But the Cowboys really had no pass rush to speak of, and Herbert was stepping up in the pocket and throwing dimes deep downfield. It was kind of retro to some of the early Herbert days, but that is a very different type of situation against a anemic Cowboys pass rush without Quinn Williams, as it is, the Houston Texans and their ferocious rush, which surprisingly, like, Houston got outplayed by Las Vegas, and it was pick six, and I think some honestly pretty lucky penalties on third downs, which led them to extend the game. But Will Anderson and Daniel Hunter going up against these Chargers tackles is about as big a mismatch as you can find. And I think Herbert's going to be under constant duress, and the numbers are going to look a little bit closer to kind of the negative 0.14 EPA per play Herbert rather than the 0.89 EPA per play Herbert from Sunday. And in that sense, I think it's a matchup that's a little bit too great to overcome. I think Houston might struggle to move the ball themselves, and I think that the total is kind of reflecting that at 39.5 right now. But I think that the Chargers offense also probably going to be without Kamini Vidal, who's been their most effective rusher this season. I just see this as way too big a mismatch, and Houston to kind of pull out an ugly one here.
Okay, yeah. So doesn't like the matchup for the Chargers this week. Texans versus Cowboys, big difference there. So lean towards the Texans money line at 2.18, but not an official selection. We're going to skip the Ravens at the Packers. Feel free to jump in, Judah, when we get to long shots if you do want a word or two on that. But your long shots, the Dolphins 3.1 hosting the Bucks. Hard to know what to make of the Bucks based on last week's. Some good drives, some not so good drives.
I mean, this is a team. I think Baker Mayfield's been playing through an injury since week 7, really.
Yeah.
I mean, his inaccuracy rate, if you just like chunk up the season, especially deep, it's gone from his catchable ball percentage on throws 20 yards downfield has gone from 68% to 25%. Now, some of that was probably that the 68% was not sustainable, and 25% is probably a little bit worse, but the truth lies somewhere in the middle, and that is a massive delta. His accuracy rate is way down. He's had one positive EPA per play game, and that was against the Falcons on Thursday night a couple weeks ago since week 7. I mean, this has just been a Bucs offense that has been bottom 5, even after getting Mike Evans back, even after getting Chris Godwin back, and Jalen McMillan. This is just a Bucs offense that is not priced the same way. And I think the narrative on kind of Quinn Ewers and this Dolphins team is a bit misleading. Right, the final score of that game was 45-21. Seemed like a complete thrashing from the Bengals. There was like a single play sequence where the Dolphins get called for a phantom offensive pass interference on a Devon Achane. What would have been like a 30-yard play in a game. I believe they were tied or down 3. And the next play, Quinn Ewers throws a 15-yard completion fumble. And then the next one, the next possession is a great defensive play, tip, interception, kind of a fluky play that ball was picked. The Bengals have 2 short fields and kind of run away with it. Yards per play for that game were 8.5 for Cincinnati, 8.4 for Miami. And Quinn Ewers threw for 9.4 yards per attempt. This is a Bucs defense that over the last 6 weeks is allowing the most yards per dropback. Even the run defense has struggled a bit over the last couple of months. This is a Dolphins, and the Dolphins have been running on everyone. This is a Dolphins offense that I think Quinn Ewers' first start was a lot better than the market is giving him credit for, and a lot of those were some kind of fluky turnovers. Granted, it's also his first game. You expect some of these guys to get better as the season improves. I think this is a spot where the Dolphins are underrated and the Bucs themselves are way overrated. Still, they keep losing. And this is an offense that is nowhere near the level they were playing in kind of weeks 1 through 6 of the season. At home, the market implying a 7-point difference between these teams is a little bit outrageous to me.
Okay, yeah. So overreaction there. Always music to my ears when we hear a market potentially overreacting to one game sample or maybe just a fluky game, and that's a Dolphins money line 3.1 long shot of the weekend. That is Sunday, December the 28th, if I still have that right, 6 p.m. UK time, and we go all the way to Sunday night football. Bears at 49ers for best bet, so this will be 20 past 1 Sunday night football, so that's into the early hours of Monday the 29th of December, and the Bears at the 49ers, and you like the Niners -3. Very impressive last night they were.
Yeah, I mean, their last punt was their first possession against the Browns in a crazy win game, mind you.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Like 3 games ago. This is an offense that is firing on all cylinders right now. George Kittle did not return in that game. He's banged up. Christian McCaffrey is also banged up. I anticipate both these guys, though, will be ready to go. And this is a Bears. I mean, the story of Caleb Williams making a great throw is one thing. The first 3 quarters, this was a Bears offense that could not do anything. The Niners defense, I think, kind of very surprisingly last night really held Jonathan Taylor in check. They had previously been really struggling in their run defense. And I think this is a team that certainly, if they can slow down the Bears, slow down the Bears run game, I think can really thrash them. But ultimately, this comes down to the Bears defense has been playing a lot better as of late. I don't think that matters in San Francisco with an offense that is playing as good as the Niners are right now. And there's still, Caleb Williams still has such a limited ceiling here in how much the Bears, I think, can score. There are too many drives that are ending with inaccurate throws. And he's done an amazing job of avoiding negative plays, avoiding interceptions, avoiding sacks. And I think that kind of style of play works in some senses. But when you've got an offense on the other side that's just not punting right now, it kind of limits your ability to go toe-to-toe with them because you need the quarterback to be consistently making great throws and converting on third downs. And that's just not the Bears offense right now. So at home, the 1.5 point kind of implied difference between these teams in this matchup, I don't think it really works, despite the Niners' struggles in pass defense.
Okay, so we are going against the Bears this week, and Caleb Williams there with the Niners -3. Insights.mashpit.com, full recap, Judah's picks for Christmas. Final word to the listeners, viewers, Judah, just be grateful we have Christmas football leading into from the 25th to 28th. We have 3-4 days of good NFL football on our TV.
That's right. We've been really blessed. Going back Thursday, Saturday, Sunday,
Yeah.
Monday, again Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Like let's soak it in. We're at the end of a regular season. That the playoff games are great, but it's a different beast. It's not the red zone Sundays.
No.
This is really the last week, I feel like, of
Property.
typical proper, exactly. So
Yeah.
got to soak it in, enjoy every last minute of football until next September.
And we, as I said, us podcast, Matchbook podcast, we have the bye week 18, so we'll be back for the playoffs. These playoffs will live up to the openness that will come into effect. Like Super Wildcard Weekend should be the best in years, shouldn't it? Because it has been, from memory, there's been disappointments in the playoffs, or just some weekends you're just waiting for the next, for the 3 or 4 teams that can win it.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. It's going to be also fascinating how the standings shake up, especially in the AFC, which is just kind of a big mumble jumble, but it's possible we get a lot of road favorites, which always makes for some intriguing wildcard games.
Yeah, and great to talk about as well. So we'll be back with Jude, and Brad will be rejoining us for the playoffs. As I said, insights.matchbook.com if you want to recap of Judah's bets over the next 3 or 4 days. Obviously, with the Christmas period, that becomes as important as ever. And make sure you enjoy the Christmas football. If you're having a bet on the NFL, make sure, again, it enhances that enjoyment, but you do so responsibly. And from all the team at Matchbook, this is not just our last NFL podcast of the year, but it's our last sports podcast of the year. We'll be back, I think, the 5th of January with our soccer podcast, and that will lead into the NFL playoffs, which we'll be recording Thursday or Friday that week. But enjoy the Christmas break, viewers and listeners, and we'll chat to you in the new year. Bye-bye.